Welcome to another Chainlink update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our Discord server where we post multiple updates a day. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. So Chainlink is currently going down. As you can see, we got to the 0.786 support level of this 1-2 setup right here. And in my opinion, this is going to break extremely soon. I mean, we did not really get a bounce off of the 0.786 support levels, so it's very likely that the 1-2 setup gets invalidated, which would not be bad because this 1-2 setup, I mean, the first wave right here is only an ABC structure or a 1-2-3 setup, and I don't really like that. So I would much rather see another low in the fourth wave before we actually continue with the fifth wave move up. So I'm just gonna get rid of the target zone right here. Now, of course, we could bounce right now, and if we do, the next target would be at about $31, but, you know, we already dropped to the 0.786 support level once, and right now we are going down, so it's very likely that we drop below it. I'm not gonna get rid of the support zone yet, but keep in mind, it is very likely that we drop to about $19.53 to test the 0.382 extension before we actually continue going up, which, like I said, it would not be bearish. So let me get rid of this right here, and if you did not watch my previous videos, I want to explain what's going on again. So let's start on the daily chart for this. After getting the bear market low in June of 2023, Chainlink formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup to form a first wave move of the cycle. Then we went down for about, let's say, about 6 months in an ABC structure, which formed a second wave move. And then after that, we formed, let's go on the 4-hour for this. After that, we formed a 1, 2, 3, 4 setup, and we are still to form the fifth wave of this 1, 2, 3, 4 setup. And this fifth wave, you cannot expect it to be extremely bullish because, you know, the third wave already got to the 300% extension of the 1-2 setup, so you cannot expect the fifth wave to hit like $60. It's not realistic. My target for the fifth wave is somewhere between $35 and $41, and once we get these 5 waves, I will be able to confirm that the second wave right here is in, and that we are actually heading in a third wave move to the upside, which would be the third wave move of this very large 1-2 setup that we have on the chart. And the minimum target for that is at about $105, and that's the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup. Is that realistic? Well, in my opinion it is, but this is not financial advice. So, and also keep in mind, I'm the same person who believed in Chainlink when it was down here and down here. So yeah, of course I think it could get to like $100 in this cycle, probably even more than that, because the minimum target is $100 for the third wave. So the fifth wave should be able to get to like $160, maybe even more. I don't know if the 2618 right here is possible. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's definitely extremely unlikely that we get here. But you know, $160, that could be a reasonable price prediction in my opinion. If you bought down here in the support zone, when I was telling you that right now it's the perfect time to buy, of course nobody was watching back then, but I did have a support zone on the chart, and Chainlink reacted to my support zone multiple times. So yeah, this was the perfect time to buy. And if you bought down here, I'm pretty sure you are already happy with your position. I mean, let's say you bought at like $10, you are already up like 2x, you were up like 3x up here, so things are looking good for you. Now, of course, not many of you bought down here, probably. I mean, of course, there are some people that bought down here, but not many of you did because people were fearful back here. But keep in mind, this shows you that, you know, you need to buy when the others are fearful and you need to sell when the others are too greedy. Right now, everybody is fearful. And why? Because Chainlink is down. And not only Chainlink, but the other altcoins as well. I mean, Chainlink is down about, let's see, about 35%. It went down like 35% after going up about, let's see, about 300%. So even though Chainlink went up like 300% in a matter of months, what people are focusing on is the fact that Chainlink is going down even though it went up like 300%, which is unheard of in any other markets except the crypto markets. So don't get too greedy, you know, and you know, you need patience in the market. You cannot make money in a day. So yeah, I also want to talk about the weekly chart. The weekly chart is looking extremely good. Here we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup, which formed a first wave move. The bear market was an ABC structure for the second wave move to the downside, and right now we are working on the third wave of this 1-2 setup. Now of course this third wave, this will take decades, probably like 20 years or so. And why is that? Well, because it's a third wave. So right now in this cycle we'll only work on the 5 waves of the first wave of the third wave, and things could get very bullish, but only if we actually form 5 waves in the cycle. If we only form 3 waves, that would not be good, and the third wave right here will no longer be able to be called a third wave. I will have to change my view on this count. However, if we form 5 waves up, then the next bear market should be a big ABC to the downside, which could be extremely deep, and then the next bull market could be a third wave of the third wave right here. And if we get to that point, then that could be the most impulsive cycle yet. So if Chainlink manages to survive the next bear market, and if it manages to actually form 5 waves in this market, then yeah, the next bull market could get extremely crazy. I also want to look at the monthly chart because this is also important. If you look at the RSI, which is down here, the RSI is barely at 61, even though Chainlink is at like $21. And if you look at what happened the last time when Chainlink got to the overbought territory, for example, up here in the previous cycle in 2020 August, Chainlink was at about $19, and as you can see, the monthly RSI was extremely overbought. However, right now, Chainlink is at like $20, which is more than what it was up here, and we are not even overbought. So this is a good sign, because if we want to get to, let's say, $100 to $200 in this cycle, we cannot afford to be overbought on the RSI when we are at like $20. So the fact that we are not overbought right now is actually very, very bullish. Now, I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin dominance in this video because I believe I've talked about that way too many times. So if you want to know more about Bitcoin dominance, you should watch my previous videos. I'm going to keep this one short. Well, not this video. I'm going to keep this talk short. So basically, I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to drop extremely soon, and by extremely soon, I mean January, and I'm not gonna say why. Like I said, you should check out my previous videos. And once this happens, then Chainlink will most likely start going absolutely insane, and we could get to $100 by the end of May of next year, which is 2025. Now, of course, that's only my opinion, and if it does not turn out to be true, then, I cannot do anything about it. I don't have a magic globe that tells me what to buy and when to buy or how to buy or when to sell, So I'm only doing technical analysis, and so far it has worked out quite well for me. But at some point I'm gonna be wrong. And speaking of that, let me go to the Bitcoin chart. So I've been predicting that Bitcoin will get to 120k by the end of the year. Right now there are like 2 days left of the year and Bitcoin is at like $94,000. So I think my prediction is off the table. I have not been completely wrong because I have been predicting since we were pretty much down here that Bitcoin will be at 100k by the end of the year. And what do you know, we got to about $108,000. So I'm gonna take that as a win, but I'm not gonna take it as a complete win because I was still expecting Bitcoin to go to higher prices just based on what happened in the previous cycles. As you know, in every single December of a halving year, Bitcoin goes up at least like 20 to 30 or 40%. In this cycle, however, we are down like 2% in December, which is very weird, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with Bitcoin in January of 2025. It's going to be interesting to see if we will actually continue going up or if Bitcoin will just continue going sideways when the altcoins will start going crazy. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens here. I do, however, have to warn you that Bitcoin got to the oversold territory on the 4-hour RSI right here, and that was like 9 days ago, and the last time we got to the oversold territory on the 4-hour chart was down here when Bitcoin was at about $59,000. So even though Bitcoin has not gone up in December of this year, I still believe it's possible for it to go up in 2025, which means that $255,000 by the end of next year is still very, very possible in my opinion, especially if you look at the monthly RSI. I mean, the RSI is barely overbought. It's actually going down right now. It's at 73. And yeah, I think it's only a matter of time until Bitcoin starts going up again and until we break all-time highs again. And why am I saying that? Why am I talking about Bitcoin? Well, it's because Bitcoin is important, and if Bitcoin goes up, then the altcoins will also go up. Now keep in mind, at some point Bitcoin dominance will start dropping to the downside, and once that happens, then the altcoins will start not caring about Bitcoin and they will go up on their own. But for now, what Bitcoin is doing, it's still important, and it's still gonna be important for the entire cycle, but it's not going to be as important going into next year just because Bitcoin dominance will start dropping. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm sorry if I confused you, but I'm still a bit sick, so I cannot think properly. And yeah, I mean, that's it. I don't have anything else for today, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our Discord server where we post multiple updates a day. And yeah, like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.